First of all, every circuit starts with a power source. I have a couple of them here, and power sources can be something like a battery that you're familiar with, like these AA batteries, for example. This is DC power, okay? So this is what we call a direct current. And then the power that's coming out of your wall, for example, is AC, which is alternating current. Now, for our purposes, we're going to be focusing on DC power. Okay, we're going to be using direct currents, like batteries, for all of the projects. We won't use really any AC power. Look, this AA battery, if you look at it, okay, right here, does say 1.5 volts. So each of these will generate 1.5 volts. I also have this 9-volt battery, and yes, that's where it gets its name. It's 9 volts. I have a little button cell battery here, and this button cell battery will actually, you can see right on it, says 3 volts. So this little tiny thing actually generates 3 volts. And then something like this, power source that you use to charge up your cell phone, for example. And this gives 5 volts. It's very important to understand how many volts you have, how many volts the components that you're trying to power will need. Something to be very aware of. Alternating current, like out of your wall socket, can be very dangerous. Any kind of current, any electricity can be very dangerous, and in fact it can kill you. As little as 100 milliamps can actually stop your heart. Well, then why, if I go like this, doesn't this battery stop my heart? Well, there's a couple of reasons. First is that there's a lot of resistance in my skin, and it doesn't allow that current to flow through. Second, and probably more importantly, is that these are very low amperage. So in order to calculate the power that is generated by your power source, which is in watts, you need to know what the current is. The current is in amps, and then you also need to know what the voltage is. So we know what the voltage is here, and these are very low amperage. But let me give you an example. If I take these two AA batteries that are 1.5 volts each, and I put them in series, which means I connect the positive to the negative like this, like you would if you're putting a couple of batteries in one of your electronic gadgets, right? And I put these together. This battery series right now is going to generate 1.5 plus 1.5 equals 3 volts. If I put 4 of them in a pack like this, I get 6 volts. Then if I expanded this and I put 8 of them in here, I would have 12 volts. Now the battery in your car also has 12 volts. It's much bigger. And if I took a wrench, and I do not recommend this, but if I took a metal wrench and I arced the positive to the negative side, I'd be in some serious trouble. And what would happen is, at the minimum, it would probably burn me, and it could kill me easily. So why, if I have 12 volts on these AA batteries, which, by the way, won't start your car, and I have 12 volts in the car, why would that kill me and this won't? That's because of the amps. A car battery is going to have something like 850 or more amps times the 12 volts. So that power is going to be a lot more than if I just have these AA batteries. So it's important to understand power is measured in watts, and that is the current, which is measured in amps, times the voltage, which is measured in volts. So what we're going to do is I'm going to show you how to test the voltage on here. I'm going to turn it to DC volts. I'm going to set it here to 20 because these batteries are all less than 20, but they're going to be more than 2,000 millivolts, and we'll test it out and see what it says. So I've got my AA. On the battery, it will tell you which is plus and which is minus, and on the AA, this little part that has the little nipple sticking out is your positive, and the flat part on the back is your negative. Black is generally negative, and red is positive. So I'm going to take my black lead here, put it on the back. I'm going to take my red and put it on the front, and I'll look at my multimeter, and I'm getting 1.64 volts. This battery's brand spanking new, so it's measuring a little bit high, and that's okay. On the other hand, I have this 3-volt button cell battery. The back here is negative. On the front, it does have a positive sign, so I'm going to put that there, and I'm getting just over 1 volt. That means that this guy's just about to die. Okay, so we have a power source.